This meeting is called to order. Welcome to a meeting of the Indian Wells City Council. Regular meetings held in the City Council chamber are streamed live. Members of the public who wish to listen or watch the meeting may access the live stream during the regular meetings. Public comments. Members of the public who wish to speak should fill out a blue slip and submit it to the city clerk. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. In accordance with state law, remarks during public comment are to be limited to subjects within the city's jurisdiction. You may also submit written comments if you choose. If you are an individual with a disability and need a reasonable accommodation, we will accommodate you. Please turn off all communication devices, phones. Please, for a moment here, look at your phones and see if the bell's off. I'll do mine. All documents for public review are available for public inspection at City Hall reception, 44950 Eldorado Drive, Indian Wells, during normal business hours, including any of the documents that we have here today. And the city clerk is in charge of that. Right, Angelica? Okay, so we will convene this council meeting on December 4th at 1:40 p.m. Sorry we're late. We had a closed session that went a little long. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I got you. Thank you.
Ms. City Clerk, would you please do the roll call?
Councilmember Sanders,
Present.
Councilmember Penna,
Present.
Councilmember Taylor,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Reed,
Present.
Mayor Whitman.
Here. Does somebody have a motion to approve today's agenda?
Motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries 5-0. We will go first to subsection C, presentations and reorganization of the City Council. C1, certificates of recognition honoring Gerald Ford Elementary School students. Where's John Preston? There you are, John. All right, John, come on up. Are these some?
Yeah, you just come down and we'll read.
All right. Okay.
You buying it?
Yeah, since you want to. John, it seems like this is a monthly thing now where you come here and get awards. All right. We start. I think the way to say that is you're the best school in Indian Wells. Our first certificate of recognition is presented to Sophia Ballard Williams in honor of your exceptional resilience and courage during your recovery. Your strength and perseverance serve as inspiration to the entire community. John, do you want to tell the folks, do you want to tell the folks what happened here?
Yeah, I'll share a little bit. Sophia, does she want to come up?
Where's Sophia?
Yeah.
All right.
During recess on October 10th, Friday, Sophia and her friend Ashton can come up here too, bud.
You want to come up, Ashton? Come on up, Ashton.
They were at recess and they were kind of playing in a little sand area that we had, and unfortunately, Sophia got bit right on her front index finger on her right hand, and Ashton's a little sweet on Sophia, so he follows her around a lot, and Ashton was standing right behind Sophia, and Sophia got unfortunately bit by the snake and kind of flung the snake right onto Ashton, and Ashton grabbed the snake and ripped the snake in half.
Wow.
And he had, yeah.
So now there are two snakes.
And Ashton turned around to one of our paraeducators who was standing right behind him and kind of held it up. And, Ashton is nonverbal, so he was communicating in the best way that he could. And Ashton had some blood running down one of his arms. So the paraeducator started to check Ashton because she thought that he was injured, when actually he's the one who tried to save Sophia. He opened his hands and had the 2 pieces of the rattlesnake in his hands, and she swatted it out of his hands, and then we got them both immediate medical attention. Ashton was not bit, but we got paramedics were there within 5 minutes, and Sophia was on her way to the hospital, I think, within 17 minutes, and where she was at Eisenhower, and then later transferred to Loma Linda.
So, Ashton, you want to come up here and get your award and certificate of recognition? Or we'll come down there. How's that? We'll come down here. Ashton, your unwavering courage and strength in the face of challenges is what we are honoring you for. Your perseverance is a beacon of hope. Continue rising above fear and let your brilliance light the way for others. Ashton, here's your recognition.
Yay! Way to go! Let's pick up. Well done.
And Sophia's mom, on behalf of Sophia, in honor of her exceptional resilience and courage, please accept this recognition from the City of Indian Wells for her strength and perseverance that serve as an inspiration to our entire community. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, John. Good to see you. All right. Next is the presentation of the mayor's plaque. Dr. Taylor?
Yes, here it comes.
You and I go down. Oh, we'll do it right
You're gonna do it here?
We'll do it
I
right
think it's good right here, don't you?
Yes.
So this is Bruce. Thank you for your incredible year of service
Thank you.
as mayor of Indian Wells. On behalf of the city of Indian Wells, here is a plaque in honor of your tremendous leadership and courage over the past 12 months.
Thank you, Topher.
Absolutely.
All right. We're now going to have some remarks from the people who are transitioning. And as mayor, I guess I get to start. As my year of mayor comes to an end, and as we know, we each get 1 year on rotation, I look not so much to the past, but to the future of our city, which is so bright. We ended the fiscal year with a large surplus, and we are on target to end the next fiscal year with an even larger one. Isn't that right, Chris? I think that's what you told me yesterday. We are fiscally sound as a city. Our residents have been safe, and we have extended our community activities thanks to the work of Brian Penna and his group of Community Activities Committee. We have opened the new and redesigned Players Course, and the golf resort is again profitable. My main goal as mayor was to be a good representative of the city of Indian Wells and to make everyone who lives or visits here's life just a little bit better. I've had a lot of great years in my life and some accomplishments, but I have to say that last year was my best. I hope it was a great year for all of you too, and that next year is even better for all of us. Much credit goes to my colleagues on council, who each have unique talents and experience to bring to the table. Chris, our city manager, Kevin McCarthy, our finance director, and all of our departments of the city have executed the work of the city perfectly and made us up here on the dais look good. Thank you, Chris. Chris brings a special talent for managing the workplace, and it really is like a family here, and I hope I have contributed to that family during my year as mayor. Special thanks to Kathy Taronis and Irene Morales, our assistants, who kept me and our other council members informed and on schedule. We have a lot of duties, a lot of committee work, a lot of presentations, luncheons, dinners, especially as mayor, that we have to attend, and they keep us on track. Our city clerk, Angelica Avila, is a consummate professional, and I thank her for all of her work for me over really the last 10 years. Our police and fire keep us safe. Thank you, Frank and Mike. Appreciate all you do. I will end by saying that you may have heard or seen of disagreements between me and my fellow council members on some policy decisions over the last year. There's nothing wrong with that. In any of these contested matters, while I may disagree with their opinions, I am 100% confident that however any of my colleagues voted, in opposition or with me, their vote was because they honestly believed their vote was in the best interest of Indian Wells. I will continue to work hard as a council member this next year under Mayor Topper Taylor and Mayor Pro Tem Brian Penna. I will heartily support them when we agree and will respectfully explain my reasoning whenever I may disagree. Most of all, I thank Jenny, my wife, and my sons and their families for their support, insight, and understanding when city business had to come first. Any of you who knows us knows that Jenny is a full partner in this endeavor, and she serves as my trusted counselor and editor, and she's a damn good editor too. She was the editor of our law review. All I've ever wanted in my life is for my family to be as proud of me as I am of them. Lastly, thank you to the residents of Indian Wells. You are what this is all about for me. If you had a good year of life here, that's all I need to know. Topper, here's the gavel.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
I look forward to serving you and Jen, or Jen's over there, during this next year with you as our mayor and Brian as our mayor pro tem. That's all, folks. Next, we have
Mayor Whitman, if you would like to have any of the council members say some remarks before we
Oh,
do the
okay.
I
transition.
would like to start, please.
all right, so we will have council remarks. Brian,
Yes.
Penna, you are up first.
Thank you, Mayor Whitman. I would like to take a moment to thank Mayor Bruce Whitman for his service to Indian Wells. Leadership is never easy, and this year certainly brought its challenges. But throughout it all, you remained a free spirit, someone unafraid to speak honestly, push for what you believed in, and stayed true to yourself. I am grateful for your leadership, and even more grateful for your friendship. Thank you for your commitment to our community and all you've given the city and will continue to give to this fine city. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, Brian. Who's next? Anybody else?
Well, sure. I just want
Dana.
to say it's been an honor to serve as your mayor pro tem for the year. I appreciate the fact that you gave me absolutely nothing to do because you were there and you went to all the good stuff and the bad stuff as well. So I had basically a free ride as mayor pro tem, and I really appreciate it. And you did a wonderful job, and I look forward to the coming year. And that's about all I can say.
I do want to say, Dana, our monthly mayor pro tem meetings at the Kestrel restaurant were always interesting and a lot of fun. It's a little boring because Dana always orders the exact same thing for lunch every single time he goes there. But yes, I really appreciate the time we spent together and value and honor that. Thank you, Dana.
Mayor Whitman, it's been a successful year. Thank you for your leadership, and let's continue the momentum.
Bruce, one of the things that I admire most about you is the amount you care about this community, and you bring an enormous amount of experience to the table as a lawyer, and because a large part of this process is relates to the law, and so your insights and your perspective are always not only generous but enlightening. And so I want to thank you for your candor and your experience and your wisdom, because I've learned a lot from you over the past year. Thank you, Tom.
Angelica. It's your turn now to do the
Yes.
rotation.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor and Council, your city clerk. The City Municipal Code, Section 2.08.160, governs rotation of the offices of the mayor and the mayor pro tem. In accordance with that section, Councilmember Dr. Topper Taylor now may serve as mayor for 2026, and Councilmember Brian Penna now may serve as mayor pro tem. We now invite Christopher Boone, Dean of the USC Sol Price School of Public Policy, who will administer the oath of office to our new mayor, to come forward.
Thank you for coming in. What an honor. What an honor.
All right. Do you, Dr. Topper Taylor, solemnly swear or affirm to support the Constitution of the United States and State of California and the Charter of the City of Indian Wells and its laws, to uphold the goals, mission, and objectives of the city, and to the best of your ability, which I know is great, perform the duties of mayor in the service of the residents of Indian Wells?
I do and I will.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we now invite Cassidy Beck, who will administer the oath of office to our new mayor pro tem. Brian.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to working together.
Okay, wait, how do I do it? Hello. Sorry. It's good. Do you, Brian Penna, solemnly swear or affirm to support the Constitution of the United States and the State of California and the Charter of the City of Indian Wells and its laws, to uphold the goals, mission, and objectives of the city, and to the best of your ability, perform the duties of mayor pro tem in the service of the residents of Indian Wells? I'm proud of you and I love you. Thanks. Come on.
Do you want to make any comments before we decide? Okay. We good? All right. I'd like to take a moment here before we recess. I wrote a little speech here called "Isn't Life Wonderful?" When I woke up this morning, I thought about why I went into government. Then my alarm clock, powered by electricity provided by Southern California Edison, reminded me that I need to start my day. I took a shower in the clean water provided by the Coachella Valley Water District. While dressing, I turned on the TV to watch KESQ, a Federal Communications Commission regulated channel, to see what the weather was like in Indian Wells using data supplied by the National Weather Service, aggregated by satellites designed and launched by the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. I grabbed a quick breakfast, eating food inspected by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and had my vitamins, which are approved by the Food and Drug Administration. I got into my National Highway Traffic Safety Administration approved car to drive here on roads built and maintained by a combination of the Riverside County Transportation Committee and the City of Indian Wells. While sitting at a traffic signal controlled by the Coachella Valley Association of Governments, I realized my car needed some Environmental Protection Agency and California Air Resources Board approved gasoline. So I pulled into an ARCO station built and owned by Nakhtar Chandi, a local immigrant turned billionaire, and used legal tender to pay for my filled tank, which of course is issued by the Federal Reserve Bank. When I finally arrived at the office, I realized that I forgot to lock the door to my home, but that's okay because the Riverside County sheriffs who patrol Indian Wells make our city one of the safest communities in California, and I can rest assured that my home won't burn down when I return because of the 5-star service provided by Cal Fires, who manages Fire Station 55 across the parking lot. When I entered City Hall, a building and staff paid for by tax dollars, which filter through the California State Franchise Tax Board, the County of Riverside, and our amazing city treasurer, I turned on my computer to review any urgent emails on the internet, which World Wide Web was developed by the Defense Advanced Research Projects Administration under the Office of the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of Defense, now called War. I read an email from one of our residents that said, "Dr. Taylor, I fear you don't know what you're in for being mayor. Government cannot do anything right." Isn't life wonderful? The truth is, I am here for one reason, because I care. Lastly, the first election I won was becoming class president in 2nd grade. I won on the promise of buying everyone ice cream. Well, it's been 50 years since that moment, but some things never change. We're going to recess in a moment, and please enjoy some of the best date shakes in the valley on me as an expression of gratitude for being elected to serve this fine city as your mayor. Let's recess.
Fabulous. That was great.
I am so glad.
Go ahead.
We'll reconvene in 15 minutes.
Where am I sitting?
At
I would.
2:17 p.m. on December 4th. Here we go.
I need one of these.
Okay. That's the special one.
Oh, well.
You need a, I think
I'll
you
get
got one right there.
There we go.
Right? Okay. So let's reconvene the meeting. Do we need to do a roll call?
Yeah.
Okay, please proceed.
Councilmember Whitman,
Here.
Councilmember Reed,
Present.
Councilmember Sanders,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Penna,
Present.
Mayor Taylor.
Here. So now we go to the public comments part of the agenda here. Do we have any public comments?
Yes, Mayor, we do have one public comment. We have Mr. Martin Lax.
Mr. Lax, I think you know the rules by now. 3 minutes. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
delicious.
Thank you.
May it be a sweet year as we say.
Here we go.
I have given the clerk 2 maps for you all to look at later. I'm sorry I didn't get it to you sooner. 1958 map showing the annexed area, and you'll see the development there. It's 101 acres, 350 homes were planned there. And you know how they have those quads? It was going to extend all the way into the golf course. Just really interesting to look at the historical photos or historical maps and what could have been. I'm glad it didn't. And the other map I have for you all is, I think I might have given it to you before, but I wasn't sure. But basically the El Dorado Palms area, which is from El Dorado to where the club is, El Dorado Club, to Indian Wells Country Club, the area, the ungated area there, and the corner of Fairway and El Dorado was a vineyard. There was a vineyard there back in the day, and it explains why I have so many good fruit growing in my yard. I just you know, it's all serious sometimes, but there can be some good times too. So I share those with you.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Are there any more public comments?
No.
Okay. So the public comments are now closed, and we move to G on the agenda, City Manager Report. Dr. Freeland, any comments?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do have several, so please bear with me. First and foremost, I want to give kudos and say great job to Catherine Manning, Angelica Avila, our Community Activities Committee, our Public Works staff, and others who put on a great holiday tree lighting ceremony on Tuesday night. Kudos. This has definitely been a festive week, and the others, kudos I want to give is to our friends at Troon, our Community Activities Committee, and all those who made the Players Course celebration a huge success this week as well. Congratulations to them. As a follow-up to this point, I think it's important to give kudos to Troon, especially the General Manager, Robin Graff, who's here today, Director of Agronomy, Nick Leitner, Director of Golf, Joe Williams, and many other golf resort staff members. In addition, golf course designer John Vogt, and especially Troon Senior Vice President of Golf Course Design and Development, Ron Despain, who completed the project as promised and under budget by over $350,000. Some additional items. At your last council meeting, council asked the staff and the city attorney to look into the potential of water rights here in our community in case there is a future reduction of Colorado River water coming into the valley that could impact the Indian Wells or the city of Indian Wells getting the use of water for our lush landscaping. Staff has not only found that we do have water rights, but even more important, we've confirmed that we actually have water wells at the golf resort that, while not operational lately, they may need some repair work, but we actually have wells that we can utilize and pump water into the ponds there, which could be used for irrigation as well. So that's great news that we were able to find that information as well. Earlier this year, council adopted several strategic planning goals, one of which was to conduct a community survey to determine the level of community support for a potential sales tax measure in the future. Council delegated this authority to myself and then Mayor Bruce Whitman to decide whether to move forward with a survey. The mayor and I have both concurred that this is not the year to do so, especially after the city posted a significant surplus this year. As such, we are considering this strategic planning item complete, unless requested to agendize for a future council meeting, or perhaps it can be revisited at your strategic planning next year. Lastly, I think it's important to address some misinformation that has been circulating in the community this past week regarding the performance of the Indian Wells Golf Resort. The city has been received some emails and conversations from members of the community, so we thought it's important to set the record straight. Specifically, there were suggestions that Troon is underperforming at the golf resort and the golf resort is struggling. This is simply not accurate. Each year, the city council approves an annual plan or a budget that clearly defines the performance expectations, financial targets, and operational benchmarks for the golf resort. This budget also establishes specific key metrics, which ensures that the golf resort is run efficiently and effectively. Troon's financial success is structured that when they exceed this approved budget, both Troon and the city benefit. Strong performance results in shared success. For the current budget year, the council approved a plan that calls for Troon to generate a profit of approximately $500,000 before capital and $200,000 after capital. Through October, in just the first 4 months of the fiscal year, before the golf course has reopened, the new course, and prior to the start of peak season, Troon is already outperforming expectations. Specifically, Troon is currently pacing more than $460,000 ahead of the budget, which is 20% above the approved budget. More importantly, the performance of Kestrel is even stronger, running almost $60,000 ahead of budget, which is approximately 53% above that approved budget. Troon provides comprehensive monthly reporting to both the city council and staff, ensuring complete transparency and allowing us to monitor the excellent performance in real time. I want to congratulate Tarun on an exceptionally strong first 4 months of the fiscal year. We appreciate your efforts. Please keep up this outstanding work. Residents, I encourage you to ask our city clerk for a copy of these financial statements so you can verify the numbers for yourself. In addition, at the Coffee with the City Manager on January 14th, both myself and our finance director will have a briefing on the financial success of the golf resort. And with that, Mr. Mayor, concludes my comments for today.
Thank you very much. Now we move to item H on the agenda, City Attorney reports. City Attorney Leishman. Any reports today?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As you know, the Council met earlier this afternoon in closed session to discuss the item described on the agenda, and no action was taken at the meeting that needs to be reported under the Brown Act. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Now we move to the consent calendar. These items are considered routine and will be acted upon by one motion unless a member requests separate discussion. Are any items to be pulled today?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor,
Yep.
I'd like to remove I3, please, for discussion.
I3. Okay. So are I 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 acceptable then?
So
Move
moved.
approval.
Okay. Move for approval. Second, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Would you like then to discuss I3?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please proceed.
I3 is, my understanding from staff was that they were going to pull this item because it needs to be refined and be brought back at the January meeting. There is, however, one item that is time sensitive, and I would like it to be considered today. And that is the very first item, which is the attendance at the National League of Cities Congressional City Conference. This is an annual event held in Washington by the National League of Cities. I've gone twice. It's extremely well done. There's about 2,000 or so city council members from throughout the country who all go together. And you meet with your senators, your individual congresspersons. There are representatives from the administration coming to talk to us. The Secretary of Housing and Community Development almost always shows up. Other cabinet officials show up, and various key people from the White House show up. Anyway, it's my understanding that the mayor is interested in attending this year. This one coming up in March. I would recommend two things. One, that we approve this Congressional City Conference as a legitimate expense. And then number two, at the Finance Committee meeting on Monday, we ask the Finance Committee to please consider making this a budgetary event so that the mayor would not have to have it come out of his discretionary fund. That's my motion.
So may I just seek clarification for a moment? So why would you like to delay? What is the issue with this existing document that you want to have changed between now and January?
If I may, Mr. Mayor, staff, as we were reviewing this with council members this past week, we found that some of the organizations listed are items, for example, that aren't here anymore, like the Coachella Valley Economic Partnership. We feel that should be removed from the list. And there's also some listing of some of the nonprofits that are already budgeted line items in your budget, so they don't necessarily. CVAP.
CVAP's on it.
Yes, that's what I said, yes. But of course, other organizations that are budgetary line items, and they don't need to be on this list as well. So we'd like to clean up the list so the public and the council understands that list better.
And then it'll be resubmitted in January.
It'll be resubmitted in January, correct?
Okay.
So, Mr. Mayor, I move that the Washington, D.C. trip to the conference that was discussed by Councilmember Reed be approved, and the balance of this item be continued until the January meeting.
And can we make part of that motion that the Finance Committee on Monday will
Yes.
discuss the payment of the ordinary and necessary business?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I'll second the motion.
As a point of clarification, I believe there's 2 Cal Cities trips in January as well.
Yeah, that's one.
And if this is not going to be approved until January, just want to make sure that those are approved too at this time.
Those are, Mr. Mayor, they actually are budgeted items in your budget, so the attendance of council members that is already qualified.
Okay. All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Those against? So moved. So now we move on to letter J, public hearings. This, open to the public. So what do we have here? We have J1. So urgency ordinance amending chapter 21.85 relating to accessory dwelling units and junior accessory dwelling units to comply with recent changes in state law and finds the action to be statutorily exempt from CEQA under Public Records Code 21080.17. We'll now open the public hearing item for J1. And Community Development Director Berg, please present the staff report.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, honorable council members. John Berg, I'm the Community Development Director for the City of Indian Wells. The item before you is an urgency ordinance regarding amendments to our accessory dwelling unit ordinance. The last month or two, there's been a number of new legislative updates to ADU law, which is accessory dwelling units. And they go into effect on January 1st, and kind of considering the process for adopting a formal ordinance, it would need to go through Planning Commission, go to the City Council for first and second reading, and then ultimately have an appeal period of 30 days. Just wouldn't meet the timeline. So we're bringing forward an urgency ordinance to kind of bridge the gap there and make sure that the new state legislation is intact as we kind of move through that process. Some of the new state laws that you should be aware of affecting ADUs is that AB 1154 removes the owner occupancy requirement for a junior ADU unit when that junior ADU unit has its own bathroom. The main difference between ADU and JADU is that JADUs are really smaller ADU units. They're 500 square feet maximum, and they're located entirely within the parameters of the primary dwelling unit. So they're inside the walls, and they're not accessory outside of the walls, either detached or attached. They do have to have their own physical door, and so they don't have to have a restroom facility. They can share that restroom facility with the primary dwelling unit. In those cases, they do have to have an owner occupancy where the owner of the lot actually resides either in the primary dwelling or the ADU unit. But if it is a fully autonomous junior ADU where it supplies its own restroom facility and its efficiency kitchen, the owner does not have to live on property anymore, and they can rent it out both units. SB 543 provides clarifications to existing ADU law. It clarifies the maximum unit size refers to the interior livable space. So this is used to define, as I mentioned, junior ADUs are 500 square feet maximum. The regular detached ADUs are 850 to 1,000 square feet. And so the interior livable space excludes any uses that are non-habitable spaces that are still linked to the ADU, like the outdoor patio areas, enclosed walled out areas. Anywhere that's not habitable is not part of that interior livable space, and not used for calculating permit fees and the like, and the maximum unit size. 543 also requires cities to allow the following on a single family lot. Obviously the primary dwelling is allowed, but now owners can build a detached ADU, a converted ADU, and a junior ADU. I just described what the junior ADU is. For the benefit of the public, a detached ADU is basically an autonomous a unit outside of the house that's not attached, and it's used as a secondary dwelling unit. Converted ADU means that if you have maybe a garage or a shed or some other structure on site, and even at your house, you can use that to convert it into an ADU. So essentially here, with a single family dwelling, you can basically operate it as a multifamily piece of property with 4 different rental properties on site. So it moved it from last year where you either had it, you can build a detached or a converted. Now you can build both, and the junior ADU still applies. It does also require that staff determine if an ADU application has been complete within 15 business days, so it's very streamlined. You can imagine, different departments that have to review the application materials and determine if they're complete. We have the building department, we have the planning department, but we also have the fire department and maybe other outside agencies like CBWD. All of that has to be done on the quick within 15 business days, or the application is deemed complete. We still do have the 60 days to process the application for permit approval or denial. AB 462, this allows cities to issue certificates of occupancy for an ADU prior to the primary dwelling unit if it's within a disaster affected area. And you can look at the Palisades fire for an example. The governor declared it a state of emergency. It was in a disaster affected area. In this case, if your home was demolished or significantly impaired by the fire, you can go ahead and apply for an ADU permit and build that ADU and reside in that ADU while you rehab your primary structure. SB 9 now has created a penalty by rendering any local ADU ordinance null and void for failing to submit to a compliant ADU ordinance to the State Department of Housing and Community Development, also known as HCD, within 60 days of adoption. So once we do formally adopt the ADU ordinance in compliance with the new state laws, we have 60 days to send it over to HCD, have them review and kind of approve it, that it is compliance with all the latest legislation, and we can continue to honor that ADU code, which does have some local control. So that's kind of what the urgency is right now, is that our current ADU ordinance does have some local control parameters that allow us to, implement things that the city finds important, and their objective standards that HCDs allows cities to have some deference in implementing. But also it includes all the local or the new regulations that are going into effect on January 1st. So this is really to bridge the gap between the first of the year and when we can adopt the ordinance. And so with that, city staff is recommending that council open the public hearing, take any public testimony, close the public hearing, and then waive full reading and adopt the urgency ordinance by title, amending Chapter 2185 of the City of Indian Wells Municipal Code relating to the accessory dwelling units and junior accessory dwelling units to comply with the recent changes in state law, and find that the adoption of the proposed urgency ordinance is exempt under CEQA, or the California Environmental Quality Act, under Public Resources Code number 21080.17. That's my presentation. I am available for any questions. We also have the city attorney as well.
Does anybody have any questions for staff?
I have one question. On the JADU, when you spoke of the door, that would be an exterior door?
Yes, and thanks for that clarification, Mayor Pro Tem Penna. The primary house has to have an independent door, and so does the JADU also have their own independent access into their unit.
Thank you.
I have a question. John, how does this, if at all, affect our arena obligation?
It doesn't affect it any more than what we've been doing previously. Every year we've committed to using some of the ADUs as affordable housing, and there is, last year I think we had 6 or 7 that qualified for that. Going forward, it seems like ADUs are becoming more popular, so we might be getting more credit, and if it's a more streamlined process to get approval through the city, we could probably capture more credit for ADUs as affordable housing in the future.
Thank you.
Mr. Reed, Mr. Whitman?
I assume that all of these 4 units are still subject to our short-term rental statutes, ordinances?
That is correct. Also, the ADU or the state legislation does not allow for rentals less than 30 days. So, and if you're in an ADU, whether it be JADU or a detached ADU, you are not allowed to rent them out shorter than 30 days.
And second question, when you say 4 units on one lot, is there a square footage requirement for that lot, or is it whatever?
No, but that is part of what I had mentioned earlier, that we have some local control ability, and one of our objective standards is talking about floor area ratio, and it's not to exceed a certain percentage of the lot. So we can limit the size of the footprint of both the primary dwelling units and the ADU units on site, but you can't limit it to the point where they're not able to buy or build the minimum size ADU that they need to build. So if the maximum size is 800 square feet, they're allowed to build that. Even if the floor area ratio limits their ability to build on that lot, they can still build that minimum size ADU.
I'm not sure I understand. So there's, no matter what, they're still allowed to build 4 units on one lot. They just would have to be.
That's
smaller
correct.
units.
I guess what the benefit of our ordinance is dedicating where they can build it. If they're able to build it in an area of the lot that wouldn't make them kind of encroach a front setback area or exceed the square footage of the FAR, then we would enforce that they would do that as the primary location for development. But if they can't fit it there, they could certainly expand it into the other areas and into the FAR that we have on as a regulation.
I'm not sure that answered the question. The question was, can we restrict them if the lot is too small to 3 units, or do we have to allow them to have 4 individual units under the law?
They're allowed to
No.
build to the setbacks and height requirements, and as I mentioned, if they wanted to build the 4 units, you can certainly answer. But I believe they would still be allowed to, as long as they didn't encroach into the setbacks, the required setbacks, and
Okay.
Is that fair?
All right.
Mayor and council, just to affirm what John just said, the city does have to allow those units regardless of the size of the lot.
All 4.
Yes.
Okay. And any other questions from council?
I have one more. But
Okay.
thank you for that, Bruce. Piggybacking on Bruce's question, if let's just say hypothetically somebody was able to put all these 4 together, what kind of parking restrictions do we have?
so the parking restrictions are for certain sizes. You're not required to provide parking, and certain proximities to public transit, they don't have to provide parking. So it would depend on their location. But yeah, for the JADUs, don't have to provide parking, and the ADUs, if you were to convert your garage into an ADU, you don't have to replace the garage spaces with parking. It's just kind of fit it parallel or tandem in the parking driveway. I'll
Bruce,
defer to
Go
the
ahead.
city attorney wants to.
Mr. City Attorney.
It might be worth just reminding the council and the public that this is all a result of state law. These are not things that
City
we've
laws.
chosen for
Understood.
ourselves. We're only choosing to regulate to the maximum extent that state law still allows.
Yeah.
This is-
and
this is-
I'm sorry,
ahead.
excuse me. But that was the context of my question, is are there restrictions? And I'm speaking broadly, not restricted down to the city by itself, but does the state have any restrictions for parking?
Yes, the city. Sorry, John, if I may.
Please do.
The state does allow. You have to have a valid local ordinance to do it. The state does allow the city to require up to 1 parking space, off-street parking space, per unit, with some exceptions, such as if the ADU is within certain proximity to transit, you can't even allow that 1. Or if it's a converted or a junior ADU, you can't even require that 1. So in that scenario with the 4 that was referred to earlier, you could probably get 2.
Okay, thank you.
this is an extraordinary piece of legislation because it also, as I understand it, impacts HOAs. So if you're living in a private community, call it El Dorado Country Club, someone can build an ADU without any, well, you'd get pushback, but in essence, the law allows you to build an ADU on a lot in a private community. No, they can't really stop you. Is that correct, City Attorney?
Mayor and Council, I'm not an HOA attorney, though I hope to play one on TV someday. But yeah, HOAs do need to consult with their legal counsel because there are provisions in, we're not governed by the civil code on this, but HOAs are purportedly subject to certain civil code provisions that pretend to do that.
Yeah, we're advising all the private communities in our city to talk to council about this because this is an extraordinary piece of legislation. Okay, any other comments? We'll close comments to the staff. Open public comments. Does anybody have any public comments? No, we'll close comments to the public. Do I have a motion on council to adopt the language?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Now we move on to K, general business. So this is Safer Streets Speed and Volume Study results. We'll have Public Works Director Purvis make the presentation. Bravo. Oh no. Whoops.
How terrible.
Her hair is stuck in her glasses.
Good afternoon, Mayor Taylor, council members. Dina Purvis, currently serving as your Director of Public Works. I'm here today to report back to you, as council requested, the results of the survey done specifically to respond to the question about whether or not speed cushions are necessary on some of the city's arterial roadways. A bit of background regarding the entirety of the data set that has been collected in the last few years. In 2022, a fresh ENT or Engineering and Traffic Survey was done to support law enforcement's ability to write citations. That work was done in season. Then during the Safety Action Plan and earlier Safer Streets work, a service analysis study was done to ensure that if road diets were a chosen fix, the level of service would not be reduced. As Safer Streets moved through its concept phase in late 2024, the city reduced speed limits on first Fairway Drive and then El Dorado Drive in response to both speeding complaints and to be consistent with state law regarding park space. Additional studies were done during the season in early 2025 to understand if additional stop signs were warranted. And finally, the most recent efforts were undertaken specifically for the speed cushions. For clarity, the yellow pins are the general locations of where the pneumatic tubes were placed in the roadway to capture the data. I would like to point out the two Fairway Drive locations and to specify that the location on the left that says Fairway Drive west of Azure Hills is referred to as Fairway Drive West, and the location closer to Williams is referred to as Fairway Drive East. So you'll hear me say that as I start to go through the data. I'm going to share a lot of data, so I'm just going to ask for your patience. I'm going to start with volumes. Cook Street registered the highest volumes with 18,855 total vehicles over 7 days. Fairway Drive West came in next with a 7-day total vehicle count of 12,520 and averages over 2,000 vehicles a day during the week. Fairway Drive East and El Dorado Drive had similar average daily vehicle counts, just over 1,800, and 7-day total counts over 10,000. The number of vehicles on Rancho Palmeras was markedly lighter, with a midweek ADT or average daily traffic, of 593 vehicles a day. The volume on Ciolito was taken to be able to compare post-speed cushion data if cushions are indeed installed, because we did hear a lot that people were concerned about cut-through traffic. So now I'm going to talk about speeds, which is definitely the topic I receive the most questions about. There's many ways to look at the data, so I'm just going to hop right in there. You're going to hear me say speeding a lot, and I need to identify for you that when I'm saying that, I am using that term for any amount over the speed limit, even if it's just 1 mile an hour. El Dorado had the highest percentage of drivers speeding, with 91% of people going over the posted speed limit of 30 miles an hour when they're going northbound. The majority of the vehicles, however, are within the 36 to 40 mile an hour range. 4% of those who were over the speed limit were over 45. El Dorado did have one vehicle that made it over 71 miles an hour. Fairway Drive West saw 80% of eastbound drivers over the 30 mile per hour speed limit, but the majority of the vehicles were a bit slower, coming in at the 31 to 35 mile an hour range. 1% of Fairway Drive drivers drive over 45. Fairway Drive West also had a vehicle that went over 71 miles an hour. Cook Street had 70% of northbound vehicles driving over the posted speed limit of 35. The majority of Cook Street drivers are within the 36 to 40 mile an hour range, and 7% of them drive over 45. Cook Street also had a vehicle who went over 71 miles an hour. Fairway Drive East had 61% of eastbound drivers going over 30 miles an hour, with the majority of the drivers in the 31 to 35 mile an hour range, and less than 0.5% going over 45. That one guy who likes to go over 71 was also on Fairway Drive East. The remaining streets had lower volumes and lower rates of speed violations in comparison.
Do we know whether he was a male? I mean, you said the guy.
It could have been a woman. The person going over 71.
There you go.
So just looking at some of the trends that the data showed, 2 to 3 p.m. is definitely the peak time for speed across Cook, El Dorado, and Fairway. That's a fact that we did share with our sheriff's department, just so that they're aware. Most of the drivers, I'm going to back up a little bit. If you look at the peaks there, most of the drivers are within 10 miles an hour of the posted speed limit. And that's close to a 70% average across all of those 3 streets that had the biggest speeding. So that's why I say when I say speed, I am talking 1 mile an hour over up to 10 miles an hour. That's where most people are falling. The traffic engineering firm who did this work for us did not recommend speed cushions on these arterial streets. This particular data was discussed at the Public Safety Committee, and after much discussion, speed cushions were not recommended by that body. Concerns do remain on El Dorado Drive. The traffic engineer mentioned that the currently approved striping that we went through the process for was likely to have a minimal effect on speeding on El Dorado Drive. Council will have the opportunity to re-review the improvements on El Dorado Drive once the 30% plans come back to you. So the following options presented in the staff report today are to, 1, accept the study results and monitor, meaning wait for the Safer Streets improvements to occur and then observe the results. 2, to direct staff to install speed cushions. Or 3, provide alternate direction. And that concludes my presentation.
Okay, team, do we have any questions for staff?
I have a question. So the speed and volume data was gathered largely in September?
Yes.
Okay, so September is a month where we're still out of season.
Correct.
So if not the speed, one could expect the volume to be greater, and
Yes.
perhaps the speed. I understand from discussions with the the sheriff's department and others, including you, that there is a new technology that is available for gathering real-time speed and volume data. Apparently, it uses a satellite technology that a company is trying to sell. And I understand that Palm Desert has subscribed to this service. I'm not suggesting that we disregard this study, nor am I suggesting that we sign up for this new technology, but I do think it's worth investigating. And, if it's not inordinately expensive and if it does really work, it might be something that we would want to incorporate into our Safer Streets program.
We have started looking at the different companies that our surrounding cities are using and intend to present that to the Public Safety Committee at the next meeting.
That's great. Thank you.
Are there any specific questions related to the presentation remaining among the team here?
No question, but when we get the comments, I do have a comment, but I don't have
any other questions for staff?
No, the only thing I wanted to bring forward is with our public safety meeting, we deliberated on this quite a bit, and we did come to the conclusion, and it's in the report here, that enforcement did not show a measurable reduction in speeds, and we talked about that. And when I say that, there were actually officers writing tickets, and we looked at the times, and there were still people speeding as they're writing tickets. So that's pretty concerning information right there.
Are there any questions specifically related to the presentation? Any more additional questions? No? Okay, so I'll open public comments. Are there any public comments?
Yes, I do have one. We have Mr. Martin Lax. And as he works his way up, I did want to acknowledge that we did receive written correspondence that was provided to the council and is available for the public for inspection from Tim and Lori Jonason regarding this matter.
Mr. Lax?
Mr. Mayor, Council, this material that I just saw here, I didn't see it before today. I'm not sure if it was online, if it was accessible, but if it wasn't and I didn't miss it, then shame on me, but I think I didn't miss it and it wasn't there. Also, I didn't see anything in the report saying that it wasn't recommended. You get me riled up. I'm looking at this material all day long yesterday and today, and it's wrong. Residents are firmly against these speed cushions. We said that before. I'm going to say it again. We don't want it. I was going to do this every few seconds. This is what we're going to hear in our yards, and in our front yards and our backyards. And I, particularly everyone on El Dorado, we're not going to be happy. Sound mediation. I'm not sure what the CEQA requirements are, but this is going to affect us sound-wise. The constant thumping is not acceptable. Second, under the vehicle code section, I think we're manufacturing a violation here of speed standards. We brought it down 5 miles an hour. Are we going to raise now the speed limit to 35, 40? Because of this? Because that's what we're required to do, 85 percentile. So we're inviting a problem. I understood that's why we didn't do these speed tests over the years, because we didn't want to raise speed limits. But with 85 percentile, I think now we have to. But under the California Vehicle Code, I think you can bring it down 5 miles per hour at your discretion for good cause. Third, the March 22 engineering staff survey, no speed limit changes was recommended. The 85 percentile numbers were established and everything was fine. Fourth, the process has failed. Our website says, we're going to send out an e-blast and you're going to let people know on social media. I didn't get anything. I just happened to look at the agenda and I got riled up. So the city is telling the public, we're going to let you know when we're doing anything on the Safer Streets. And here you guys are now, don't mean to speak that informally, but here you guys are now potentially able to put speed cushions to surprise the residents. I hope you won't do it, but it's a possibility, right? So fifth, this survey that we have now in September, no methodology, no summary recommendations, no traffic engineer certification. I gave the clerk to give to you the table of contents from the March 2022 report. It has all this analysis. We don't get to look at any of that. It's not even presented to you. So what's going on here? I've come to you before. I'm going to say it again. Staff is not fully informing you like they used to. And I hope this body will finally say, staff, we want to be informed. The public needs to be informed, and you all need to be informed. So I'm here to ask. Oh, by the way, the report also says earlier years, or in February and March. I got news for you. In March of 1968, there was a traffic survey. Are we talking about that one? Because that's earlier years, and that's also in March. Obviously not. But that's the vagaries, and it's not okay. It's not okay. So I'm asking you to reject the speed cushions on our residential streets. If you want to bring the speed limits up, I don't think you want to, but then you need to find and make these findings and bring it 5 miles below what you have to do, by the way, 85 percentile. And I'm going to ask you again, please require staff reports to meet first-rate standards, dates, findings, methods, balanced presentation, positives and negatives for debate. That's how you make good decisions. To fix the public notice, make sure these e-blasts come through like you say. We all want safe streets. We have safe streets. You can't be 100% safe. Changes to have speed bumps in the road must be pursued, if they are, transparently, with respect for the law, but also, most importantly, its impact on our lives. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have, Mayor Taylor, we do have one more, Miss Marcy
Oh,
Maxwell.
please.
Thank you.
You have 3 minutes, Marcy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Marcy Maxwell, Indian Wells, and live in the Cove and also have homes in Dorado Villas. I really appreciate the report. It was very helpful and enlightening to see the speed and the volume studies, particularly around Cook Street and Fairway. And I want to say it really affirms for me the fact that we need sidewalks, especially again on Cook Street. With the speed that's continuing on there and the volume, quite frankly, which is pretty large. And we do want people, again, to be able to walk down to whatever it is, to transit, to the shopping and facilities there. So I'm very much in favor of those kinds of traffic calming and those kinds of opportunities for multimodal use. But I do want to say that I don't think speed cushions would be an answer at all. I just envision that would cause a lot of noise. And it would also, with the speeds that people are going, just cause jumping of vehicles and quite often the trailers that might be with workers and so forth behind it. So I appreciated I read in here that there was the committee not in favor of the speed cushions, and I hope that you will stand with that. Thank you, and thanks for continuing on with this work. It really is important.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Okay, we'll close public comments. Let's kick it back to the team.
Mr. Mayor, 2 things. First of all, on the speed limits on El Dorado and Fairway. Because of the proximity of those streets to a public park, we have the authority to limit the speeds to 30 miles per hour. So we can, correct me if I'm wrong, Madam Public Works Director, but we have the authority to set those speeds at 30 miles per hour without regard to the 85th percentile.
That's correct.
Okay. So they're set at 30 miles an hour.
They are.
They're going to stay at 30 miles an hour.
Unless I'm directed otherwise.
Okay. Secondly, the Public Safety Committee has recommended against speed cushions. For my 2 cents worth, I'm willing to just get rid of the whole idea of speed cushions right here and now. I think it would relieve a lot of pressure that the residents are feeling, and there are much better ways to control speed through road diets and other means.
Can I make a motion? Can I make the motion?
Oh, no.
First?
Can I just add to that?
Well, I think I should make the motion first and
Okay.
then a second and then
If
and
you'd
then we
like
can
to.
have discussion.
There's no request to move here, but if you may.
Yeah.
I would just move that we accept the file the report, and that we accept the recommendation of the Public Safety Committee for no speed bumps.
Second the motion.
Does anybody have any further discussion on this?
Yes, I have a
I did. I just wanted to add that along with all the information that we acquired in the Public Safety Committee and speaking with RSO and with Public Works, I actually went out and spoke with neighbors, talked to them, and they all do not want speed cushions. So even outside of the data, I just want everybody to know that that was done for the sake of the residents. Thank you.
Mr. Reed?
Thank you. I think we made a major mistake in lowering the speed limit on El Dorado to 30 miles an hour. And it appears as if over 90% of the people that use that road, at least going northbound anyway, agree with me. I mean, when we have an ordinance that 9 out of 10 or 9.1 out of 10 ignore, that we got to look and say, hey, wait a minute, maybe we made a mistake here. Because we're not the source of all wisdom here. We all are reasonably intelligent, but when 91% of the people who use the facility say that 30 miles an hour is unreasonable, I think we have to wake up and listen to them. We have 4 north-south arterials here in the city. We've got Cook Street, Warner Trail, Rancho Palmeras, and El Dorado. And El Dorado is the only one that is at 30 miles an hour. The other are all at 35 miles an hour, except El Dorado north of 111 is at 40 miles an hour. So the idea of going 30 miles an hour on El Dorado between 111 and Fairway is just simply rejected by 9 out of 10 people that use it. Now, with regard to Warner Trail, there is a very short area there at the very north where it's 25 miles an hour when students are present. So right in front of the school, it does slow down to 25 miles an hour when students are present. And I think that is probably what we should be doing on El Dorado. And that is in that very short, the map isn't there, but that very short area just before you get to the park, reduce it to 25 miles an hour if students or young people are present. But 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 30 miles an hour is simply, obviously, not acceptable to the people that are using that, including me, but I'm not, I'm just one person. And the other thing is that the consultant has opined that there's going to be very little change based upon what we're proposing to do with El Dorado, contrary to the other changes where there perhaps would be some significant improvement. There will be no improvement on El Dorado of any significance when we do what we're proposing to do. So at the appropriate time, and it's not today, obviously, but at the appropriate time, I think we should rescind the motion or the rule that was made to make El Dorado 30 miles an hour between 111 and Fairway, and just pretend as though it never happened and go back to the 35 mile an hour, what it used to be. And if as a compromise, if the council wants to have 25 miles an hour during that little stretch between that street that's just to the north of the park to 111, I have no problem with that one little stretch going southbound. But northbound, there would be no reason to do that. Anyway, that's my 2 cents worth. And I totally agree on the bump, 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 bump. Sounds like a pickleball thing. Bump, 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 bump. And it's got to drive, I know it drives people crazy at pickleball courts, and I can only assume it drives people crazy on a highway as well. So thank you.
All right. So there's a motion on the table.
I have discussion.
You have more discussion?
Yeah.
Please.
This is, I think, our 23rd public hearing on Safer Streets. Am I right? I believe
I
that,
apologize. I did not count before I came.
but I thought the last time we said it was
it's been quite a
22,
few,
and now
yes.
it's the 23rd. I think we've reported it to death. My review of the report that you're presented today shows that we've done the right things on these 4 neighborhood streets, on the Safer Streets vote that we had some time ago, that the Planning Commission spent an inordinate amount of time with, that we had consultants and so on over the last few years. My review of the report is that there's some instances of speeding, but it's not at a level where we have to revise what the Planning Commission recommended. I believe the speed limits we have now, and I also agree, maybe a 35 would be appropriate. I'm not against that, but I think the 30 mile an hour is appropriate on El Dorado because it's a street where we don't have any street, what do you call that, warming or whatever it is, and we don't have stop signs, and we have a lot of people going to their neighborhood homes there, and I think a lower speed limit is appropriate. And most drivers seem to, at least within 9 miles an hour over 30, I think, what did you say, 70% are within that framework, which I think is fine. So what I would like to do is get on with it, stop studying it. Let's get the construction crews out there. Let's get the streets paved. Let's get them lined. We've got a plan that we voted on some time ago. Let's just get it done. That's what I would like to do.
There's a motion on the table. I'll second it. Do we want to vote now? Does anybody have any amendments to it? Does anyone want you to repeat the motion?
Yeah, please.
So the motion, as I understand it, is to receive and file the presentation. Thank you very much for the data. And as well to formally dismiss the idea of speed bumps along Fairway or, quite frankly, El Dorado or Cook or any of the streets. So with that said, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? It passes. On to the next, which is K2, I believe. 2026 City Council assignments to various internal and external committees. So I believe this is a general business item, and who's going to make, I guess, Angelica, you're going to make a report.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you, Mayor. Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor and City Council, City Clerk. This item before you, we are presenting the annual review of your City Council committees and assignments for 2026. Staff is recommending that the council approve the updated assignments as outlined in your staff report. Also review and discuss any relevance of any existing ad hoc committees or standing committees. By policy, the mayor has priority to serve on the CBAG Executive Committee, and both the mayor and Mayor Pro Tem automatically serve on the Standing Personnel Committee and the T Committee. The proposed assignments for the 2026 are included in your attachment 1. And for the record, there is a correction regarding the Southern California Association of Governments representative. The attachment currently lists Councilmember Reed as a representative. However, the correct representative is Mayor Taylor. So I wanted to make that note. In addition, Chapter 3.05 of your council's policy, it does allow the council to conduct an annual review of any standing and ad hoc committees. Committees are deemed unnecessary by a majority vote will be dissolved. And as part of this review, I did want to note that the branding ad hoc committee composed of Mayor Taylor and Councilmember Whitman have completed its work and has been dissolved following the approvals that were conducted in October and November. The remaining active ad hoc committees are outlined in your attachment number 2 of the staff report, and I am available for any questions. So I'm just looking for any review.
Any questions for staff?
I just have one correction that was discussed prior to the meeting in regard to the Coachella Valley Clean Air ad hoc. Do you want to address that now, Mayor?
Sure. I will be replacing Mr. Penna on that particular ad hoc committee. And at this time, I'd like also to get council's approval to form 2 additional ad hoc committees. One being an ad hoc committee to help develop a 60th anniversary celebration for the city in 2027. And I'd like to nominate Mr. Penna and Mr. Sanders on that committee. The second committee I'd like to initiate is an ad hoc committee to assist the staff and Troon in seeking out a professional golf tournament for the city of Indian Wells. And I'd like that ad hoc committee to include me and Mr. Sanders. If council concurs, then we can ask these ad hoc committees to provide a report in the future, and we can bless the list with the change that Mr. Penna also made. So I have so moved. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We move on to the next agenda item, K3. We have a presentation on the Information and Technology Plan, my favorite subject. Here we go. I'm asking who's going to make this report.
I think Nick is on his
Nick,
way.
there you go.
He came down from
Here he comes.
He came down from the bat
Right?
cave.
From the Bat Cave. That's funny.
Is it Batman or Robin?
IT and Risk Manager, Warner, please.
Okay. Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor, City Councils, residents, staff. My name is Nick Warner. I'm the IT and Risk Manager for the city. Today, I'm presenting a summary of the 2025-2026 Information Technology Plan. This presentation was requested by City Council at the October 16th meeting. Technology Plan focuses on the current IT environment for the Civic Center campus, as well as strategic objectives to guide the direction of the department and initiatives moving forward that align with those objectives. Today, I'm going to go over those objectives that we look at and then the initiatives that we're looking at for the next few years. The strategic objectives for the IT department include adaptive cybersecurity, which is improving our real-time cybersecurity to protect city data and operations, cloud-based modernization, essentially migrating core services to secure cloud platforms for better accessibility and disaster recovery, AI automation. Right now, AI is really popular, and trying to take advantage of that popularity and looking to improve staff efficiency, streamline operations, and support data-driven decisions. Looking at working on digitizing public records for improved transparency, access, and protection, and then supporting various public safety and community technologies. Some of those initiatives we're looking at that are either completed, in progress, or looking at in the next few years include upgrading the city council chambers, which we just completed in the last month. I just finished improving an email security solution for city staff to improve our protection with phishing and malicious emails. We just completed deploying a digital ID solution for resident benefit cards. Finance is actually getting ready to start pushing those out, I believe, tomorrow. And then we are in the process of migrating network shares to SharePoint Online. That's in progress. And then working with my department with a website redesign, which will include a new web look as well as a chatbot that the residents will see. That's in progress. As you guys are all aware, we're working on a wireless master plan to hopefully find solutions to improve the wireless connectivity throughout the city. Working on replacing and improving the front conference room and all the conference rooms with new interactive boards, new solutions to just provide a better product when staff has meetings here in City Hall. And I'm also looking in the next few months to improve the wireless infrastructure of City Hall and the campuses, EOC, maintenance buildings, and then strengthening cybersecurity. I believe that'll take place next year, but looking at a new solution to improve our detection and response for cybersecurity, working with a vendor to find a privatized large language model, which will be an AI solution that's going to help city staff be more efficient, take advantage of some private AI information that'll keep our information from being part of any public large language model. So we'll keep it just internal. And then looking to deploy a new emergency notification system through City Hall. So those are the main initiatives on my radar right now. And then every year with strategic planning or in our department planning, we always come up with something new. So with that, I'm available for any questions.
Okay, do we have any questions?
Just a comment, Mr. Mayor. Nick, you and I talked about this during the break in this session. I was watching the city council meeting on the government TV channel, and for my fellow council members, if you don't get into the zone that this mic covers, you can't hear what the speaker is saying.
Right.
So if you're sitting back like this, it won't pick it up.
Right.
So speak into the mic
If you want to be heard.
if you want to be heard.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Any other comments for staff?
No.
Anybody? So the only question I have is, well, a couple things. One, so good job on launching the digital residence card. Have we worked out the interface and how restaurants, hotels are all going to interface with that? Because when you go to these facilities, they want you to hand them the card, right?
So we had a conversation with the golf resort. They only do a visual inspection. So their expectation that they've made us aware of is that they'll just inspect it on someone's phone. So it'll be just a visual inspection. Card will appear just like the physical card, just within an app.
Okay.
So there's none of the facilities that we work with are requiring the mag strip to be functional, any information to be encoded in any of that. So it's just a visual inspection of the card.
Okay. And then, I do think cell coverage is a kind of an important topic among a variety of cities in the Coachella Valley. We do have some soft spots in the Reserve and El Dorado, and I think Indian Wells Country Club. So looking forward to seeing that presentation sometime in the spring so that we can address those issues. Other than that, is there any public comments on this matter? Okay, close public comments. Do we have a motion to receive and file?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The motion passes. We're on to K4. The next item will be presented by Public Works Director Purvis, request for proposals on a parking lot at the Indian Wells Golf Resort.
Good afternoon again, Mayor Taylor, council members. Dina Purvis, your current Director of Public Works. This request is to allow staff to move forward with seeking design services for the construction of a parking lot on the old Hole 18. During the recent redesign of the Players Course, Hole 18 was relocated. With the relocation of this hole, the city is looking to address its parking needs at the golf resort. Hole 18 is subject to an easement agreement with the hotel partners. The existing easement allows for golf and other supporting uses in the area of Hole 18. Changes from a golf course hole to golf resort parking, while a permissible use, may be subject to their consent, which they cannot unreasonably withhold. And I am available to answer any questions.
Does anybody have any questions for staff?
Move adoption.
Well, we have to do public
Sorry,
first.
sorry.
Public comments? No public comments. Okay, back to us. Would you like to move adoption?
Yes, sir.
Okay, second. Any other further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. All those against? I'm assuming none, based on everyone's response. We're on to K5, Governance Ad Hoc Committee. City Clerk Avila, will you please present Governance Ad Hoc Committee recommendations and status update?
Yes, thank you, Honorable Mayor and Council. As part of, if you can recall, as part of your City Council strategic discussion in April, this last April, the Governance Ad Hoc Committee was formed to related matters. Today, we are presenting a series of recommendations by the Ad Hoc Committee for your review and consideration. These recommendations represent a collaborative effort between the Governance Ad Hoc Committee, city staff, and our attorney. To begin the presentation, we will start with we'll invite our Finance Director, Kevin McCarthy. He will start today.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor. Congratulations, members of the City Council. My name is Kevin McCarthy. I'm our city's Finance Director, and I'm going to walk you through the first policy that was put together by the Ad Hoc Committee. So the first was our residents benefit card code of conduct. And the code of conduct policy itself is located in the staff report, was made available to all of the public and to yourselves as well. And if you've read the policy, the spirit that the Ad Hoc Committee was going for was a sense of fairness, transparency, and overall accountability. We all know the incredible uses that we get with our RBC card. We have special resident events and cool to be hots and wildlife trips and bus tours and all the cool things that we get to do. We also have amazing discounts at our golf resort, including both rounds and the golf rate itself. Plus, we get a special 20% discount inside the Kestrel restaurant. And probably most coveted of all from all of our residents are our famous tennis tickets, which will allow our residents not only access to the BNP Paribas, but also exclusive access to most of the, if not all of this, the city suites. The question came before the committee as to why do we actually need a code of conduct policy? And unfortunately, over the last few years, we've documented a number of employee abuse instances, both at City Hall, at the tennis gardens itself, and at the golf resort. And unfortunately, even we've documented at least one case of a physical altercation, which meant grabbing of an employee. Most of the abuse has come in the form of harassment, intimidation, but we've also seen the unlawful sale and transfer of our tennis tickets and other benefit misuses. So the policy intent here, number one, we've always put our employees' safety first. So our goal here is to protect our employees, protect our partners, and protect all the folks at the Indian Wells Golf Resort. The second is to safeguard the integrity of the RBC program itself, and which actually ensures access to all of our residents. Those folks who are illegally selling tennis tickets, if they're not using them as they're allowed to do, should be returning them to City Hall for allowing other residents to use them. So that takes away another resident's right to attend the tennis tournament. We see this as far as prohibited uses. The policy goes into defining all the prohibited uses, including loaning your own RBC card, misrepresenting guests, especially at the Indian Wells Golf Resort. We've seen that quite a bit. Again, transferring or selling of the tennis tickets and using someone else's cards. One of the things that the committee was really focused on was a structured ladder of enforcement. You see the violations there as they go, but what is more important is the way they're administered. So a lot of this will have a hint of investigation technique. We'll be doing interviews with not only the resident who's been accused of misuse, but also other folks as well that are involved to be able to make a sound recommendation. Finally, penalties, as you can see there, are being adjusted all the way through this progress for severity. There are unfortunately, three major issues of misconduct which would qualify for immediate lifetime suspension. The first is any criminal activity in connection with the use of the RBC card. This would be any kind of altercation or physical altercation between staff. We see any abuse or profane language or threatening of any staff member, or the outright selling or transferring of any of the tennis tickets as well. We give fairness and transparency to all. So we do have a 10-day appeal window. Once the resident is notified, they're all entitled to a public hearing and have a final written decision as a result of that. With that concludes my portion of the presentation. I'm going to turn it back over to our city clerk to continue the rest of the recommendations made by the ad hoc committee.
Thank you, Kevin. Just to move on, we do have a couple of other key recommendations made by the ad hoc. We'll start off with the Planning Commission, which outlined in your staff reports is outlined with the changes. The changes ensure that the municipal code accurately reflect current governance practices and eliminates outdated provision. So the committee is recommending the removal of outdated references in the Muni Code, such as the Architectural and Landscape Committee, and to clarify that the City Council serves as the planning agency. So this will eliminate any ambiguity regarding authority and reflects current practice. In addition, we also do have external matters relating to outside city jurisdiction. So this one, periodically, city staff does get questions that do arise regarding whether and to what extent the city should take formal positions on actions or on matters of national or international significance. Such as these conflicts occur, the committee is recommending that the council adopt a policy to prevent extra jurisdictional discussions unless the council votes to allow this. And third, we have the council policy updates. Chapter 2.01 of your council policy currently allows the city clerk to make non-substantive updates, such as revising the table of contents, other informational sections, or grammatical errors. These administrative corrections do not require us to come back to as a formal resolutions. But so the committee is recommending that the committee change and authorize the city clerk to incorporate substantial updates into the manual when the council has already taken action or formal action on these matters without having to come back at a separate meeting to introduce another resolutions of the adoption. And finally, we do have the committee did review Brown Act related items. These updates reinforce compliance with state law, reduce risk of inadvertent violations, and promote transparency and accountability. By requiring a formal acknowledgement and leadership training, the city ensures that the elected officials understand their legal obligations. So the committee is recommending that require a new council members to sign. To have all new council members adopt a Brown Act acknowledgement, and this is for incoming council members that are sworn in, and also require a leadership training. So these are just some of the items that the council ad hoc is moving forward with. In addition to the recommendations presented today, the ad hoc did also review several governance items. However, these items were going to be coming forth before you at other meetings. So at this time, we are available for any questions. And I have our city manager and our attorney as well to help.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. Gentlemen, do we have any questions for the staff?
I have a question on the Brown Act acknowledgement. The way it's worded in the recommendation is signing this acknowledgement is only mandated for new council members. Is that correct? In other words, I don't have to sign it.
Well, we would encourage, this is something that we would like to have, I will have our attorney opine, but we would like to have you to review it today, and if you would like to sign it, and also for incoming. So this would be something new that we're proposing, but we would recommend the council that are seated today to sign it. But of course, it is something that we would require for new coming council.
Can I opine, please?
Yeah.
We did. So when I was elected in my first year, January, I went to League of Cities, and we did do Brown Act training, and we did get a certificate for that training. So additionally, we're just signing off that we actually did the program.
Right. This is
took the
more
training?
an acknowledgement to the Brown Act. So we do have for example, our closed session items, anything like that references. So this is just in general. I want to let our city attorney opine on the.
Mr. City Attorney, would you like to add any comments to this question?
Sure, Mayor and Council, as you all well know, you are subject to the Brown Act now and after your service relative to information you obtained during your service. This is just a written acknowledgement of what you already know and what you're already subject to. So it's not a certification that you've done any training. It's not a condition of holding office. It was done this was provided at the request of the governance committee to just invite you, the officials, to sign a piece of paper that expressly acknowledges what you already know and are already subject to. That's it.
Well, my antenna always go up when I'm told I have to sign a document.
Good.
Because I want to know what I'm signing and whether it's a fair thing that I'm being asked to sign. And for two reasons, I don't think that it's fair to require us to sign this document or put peer pressure to sign the document if that's all that it is, for two reasons. Number one, in September, we had a vote that City Council did not have to go through Brown Act training when it was suggested and recommended by, I forget which committee recommended it, but somebody, Planning Commission maybe, I don't know who recommended it. But we had a vote on it, and there was a vote against requiring us to have Brown Act training. Number two, I have some objections to the language of the acknowledgement because I don't think it's a completely fair representation of what the Brown Act actually says. Because what this document kind of turns the Brown Act on its head. The Brown Act, the purpose of, if you read the preamble, if you read the sections, and if you read the analysis by the League of California Cities, the whole idea of the Brown Act is to make all meetings public, except for a few narrowly circumscribed exceptions. And what this document says is that the closed sessions are to be kept secret, confidential, except for a few narrowly subscribed exceptions. And I don't think that there's anywhere that I've ever seen or been trained, and I've had Brown Act training, that says that those exceptions are narrow. In fact, I think they're pretty broad. When I saw this the other day at our mayor pro tem meeting, I went and looked at it in some more detail. And it's very clear that there are some pretty broad exceptions to confidentiality of closed session. It's never stated that they're narrowly subscribed or making a confidential inquiry or complaint to a district attorney or grand jury concerning a perceived violation of law. Number two, expressing an opinion concerning the propriety or legality of actions taken by a legislative body in closed session, including disclosure of the nature and extent of the illegal or potentially illegal action. This is quoting from Government Code Section 54963. And three, disclosing information acquired by being present in a closed session under this chapter that is not confidential information. And in various times that I've looked into the Brown Act, there is case law that says that if a matter has been otherwise disclosed publicly, then it is no longer confidential information. And then finally, if you're a whistleblower under various statutes, then you can disclose what was said in closed sessions. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't obviously keep confidential what happens in closed session. We should but these exceptions are law. And I feel uncomfortable myself signing off on a document that has had somebody else making a judgment call on what is an exception and how narrow it is. So that's my objection to it. And I really feel like if we're going to ask, and I hope we do, maybe we do, if we're going to ask people to sign it, they should have training, and it should be city training. Not up at League of California Cities, but we should have city training if we're going to ask our city councilmen to sign this. So other than that, I think it's great. I think the work that the governance committee did on the card and the abuses of the card is I can't believe we didn't have that in the past. I'm shocked, and we need to have that. But this Brown Act acknowledgement, I don't like being asked to sign an acknowledgement like this, and I would imagine other people wouldn't like that either.
Miss City Clerk, I believe we're still on comments for staff at this point in time.
Yes.
Okay, so are there any further comments on staff regarding the presentation that they made? Versus opining.
I'm not opining. The only other addition I would like to add to the training at League of Cities is
Wait, you meant questions, right? Not comments.
Questions to staff. That's right.
Is it not true that we did not have any training with you, Todd Leishman, when we were onboarded through BB&K? Because I recall having conversations.
I do too.
Getting literature, going over it with you and you calling and making sure that we understood the documents and what the Brown Act is.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for staff? Are there any public comments?
I have a quick comment.
Excuse me?
State law, it was AB 1234, which is very cute. It's easy to remember. Requires all of us to attend a briefing on governmental ethics. It's a 2-hour course, and it must be done within 6 months of taking office, and then again every 2 years thereafter. It's not exclusively Brown Act, but it's predominantly Brown Act. It goes into Government Code 1090, which is, I guess, not part of the Brown Act, and it goes into other ethics things like you can't steal money and you can't, embezzle, things like that.
Rent
That's
homes
not
to
in the
public
Brown Act.
officials.
But those things, you're reminded that this is not a big piggy bank that you can just take all the money you want, like some people, even here in this valley, think it is. It's not like we don't think we're not saying we're above the law and we don't need the training. We get the training from a different code section than other people, and it is required. And we do get a certificate every 2 years, plus the one in the beginning, and it's on file with the clerk. Anyone can come in and look at the certificates and see who has complied and who hasn't. So I think it's not really an issue, but I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for staff? If not, are there any public comments? There are no public comments.
Oh, I thought we were on comments. I thought.
So now we're back to, that's okay, Mr. Reed. We've all kind of loosened the ropes on this particular subject matter. So now we're back to City Council. Is there a motion to adopt the governance committee recommendations?
I'm going to make a motion that we adopt, and that, with the exception of the Brown Act, let's take another look at that, if you don't mind. And so therefore, I would move adoption of the recommendations, but we're going to hold off on the Brown Act until we can have further discussion.
I'll second the motion. I listened carefully to now Council Member Whitman's, no longer Mayor Whitman's, comments, and I think he makes some good points. I think a review of this Brown Act recommendation would be in order, and then it can come back to the City Council either in this form or some modified form. So I'll second the motion.
Okay, any further discussion? Let's vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? As another further comment, as we look at the language, maybe we should add 1090 ethics language in there too, because of the various occurrences that are happening in the valley right now.
Good
Okay,
point.
so we'll move to K6. The next item is modifications to Shots in the Night putting course. This is so exciting. Dr. Friedland, do you have a presentation you'd like to make?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. During this year's City Council strategic planning, the City Council instructed Troon to look at modifying the Shots in the Night putting course. This is in response to the current Shots in the Night equipment failing and the company that designed the system is no longer in business. The intent of this report is to seek City Council approval to solicit bids to reimagine the putting course with an 18-hole iconic California golf course design, including 2 or more, as well as blue and white turf to recognize water and bunker hazards. A rendering of the possible design is attached or here on the screen before you, as well as visuals of other completed similar projects. They're very popular, including the Tiger Woods Pop Stroke and the Putt Tech down there on the bottom as well. So the idea here is to replace the existing Shots in the Night putting course with something that's more year-round, as well as both day and night services. This will also allow the golf resort to provide a new amenity and advertise it to the local public, as well as our hotel guests. The company that created the putting company, like I said, no longer exists. That means the software system and the equipment is no longer there. So we are in a position that if we don't upgrade the system, it's likely to fail us sometime later this fiscal year, and we'll be out without the putting course amenity. As I said, the current technology is obsolete. The Shot in the Night putting course has been a successful entertainment venue at the golf resort, which does bring in a significant amount of revenues to the city, or I should say to the golf resort as well. Converting the turf from real grass to artificial turf will also save over $30,000 a year in maintenance costs by making this transition. And it will allow us to continue offering superior business experience for all those group businesses that come and rent the Shots in the Night facilities. Lastly, we will also explore the opportunity to get turf rebates from our local water district to help offset the cost of this project by going to artificial turf. As part of the city's and Troon's due diligence, an ROI will be provided to the Finance Committee, who's meeting next week should this project move forward. And we'll also be working to develop an initial budget for the project if authorized to move forward. At the the Indian Wells Golf Resort Advisory Committee last week, they opined and were supportive of the design concepts and provided a recommendation to continue moving forward with the various design elements as presented. So at this time, staff recommends council allow Troon to bid and develop a pro forma for the reimagination of the Indian Wells Golf Resort Shots in the Night putting course with the design elements mentioned, and that the Finance Committee next week begin its process of developing a budget. And with that, staff and Robin Graff, the general manager of the golf resort, are here to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Team, do you have any questions for staff?
Just one, half in jest but half serious. No clowns or windmills or other typical miniature golf amenities, correct?
Other than a putter and a ball, I would agree with that.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Just one, looking at the pictures, are we going to use white sand on our new putting?
Only if it's 80-20 sand.
Okay.
It's actually white carpet, just so you know.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
White carpet?
it's actually not sand. It's white
artificial
carpet.
turf.
Yeah.
All right.
Is there any other questions for staff?
Yeah, the only question I have, I'm not part of the golf resort committee, and so I have limited information on what's going on over there, except for the new players course that just opened, the reimagined players course. So to be clear, Shots in the Night it's useless and
Yeah, but let me clarify. There's two components of it. There is the top tracer technology that's underneath the solar panels at the driving range. That is still functioning. It's the putting course portion of it. That's just to the north of the driving range. That's been there since 2018, and unfortunately that technology has failed, and the company that could provide the equipment and the software no longer exists. So we're at a point where we need to redefine it.
Okay.
I appreciate that. But you'd also mentioned about the golf committee. They also mentioned the possibility of adding lights, if there needs to be improvement to the lights, perhaps a misting system out there, and that'll be part of the review of the project as well.
Thank you.
The hotels in particular were excited about this opportunity. Mr. City Manager, how do we anticipate paying for this? Is this coming out of golf budget? Where are you thinking about this?
Yes, sir. So this will be part of a supplemental appropriation from the Golf Resort Fund should this project move forward. We'll get like I said, we'll get some costing as well as potential rebates.
And an ROI analysis.
An ROI list, correct.
Okay, thank you. Ms. City Clerk, are there any public comments on this front? No public comments. Back to the team. Do we have a motion to approve recommendation?
I'll move the recommended action with the comment that I've seen a similar layout in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I think that particularly for families, this will draw a lot of business from the hotels.
I'll second that.
Just anybody else have discussion? I think this is great. I mean, obviously we have to keep up with the times. As I said at our last Mayor Pro Tem meeting, I just read an article that Topgolf, which has been a huge success and a large investment for companies that put them up, is going under. And so it was so popular at one time and no longer popular. And I think we have to move with the times. And if this is what's being suggested, Troon thinks it's a great idea and bring in business, sure, I think it's great.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those against? Passes unanimously. We move to L on the agenda, which are council members' reports and comments. Mr. Whitman, would you like to start?
Yes. Let's see. Children's Discovery Museum. I went to a meeting last week. Data shows that 50% of the visitors are from the Valley and 86% are California residents. Contrary to popular belief, there are children around here. They have a current Eyes of Discovery campaign where they take a photograph of you and you put their eyes. All these eyes are going to be on a wall. It's a beautiful idea. I've seen some of the mock-ups of it, and it's a fundraising for the end of the year. So I highly recommend you look at that. And the Discovery Museum is really fantastic. I went there for the first time with the city manager, and we were really impressed by the operation. The Golf Resort Advisory Committee grand opening event, December 2nd. I don't think I need to go into that in any great details. The Code of Ethics as it applies to the golf resort has been passed. And the ad hoc committee, maybe I should leave this for Dr. Taylor, met about the resident golf tournament. Sunline has been hit financially by the federal government withholding of clean air funding for hydrogen fuel. A large percentage of the buses are now run by hydrogen fuel. However, they did have funding to buy 12 new hydrogen buses, and the manufacturing hydrogen facility at the Sunline facility is now in operation, and they are going to start, if anybody has a hydrogen-powered vehicle, shortly they are going to start allowing people from the public to come and fill up their cars with hydrogen. Right now, you have to go 90 miles to get a fill up of hydrogen. So that would be a great thing. That's it. I also would like to, I don't know if the right way to do this, but I had made a suggestion that we have on our staff reports, and I think Mr. Lax actually said something similar, that we have a resident impact statement on our reports for capital improvement projects and for permitting for CUPs. I think that it's, okay, we've had 22 meetings about safer streets, and then some of the other matters that come up, we have no meetings of the public, and or one meeting of the public. And I just think it would be great to include a resident impact statement. I know people think, oh, that would be negative. We would have to put negative. Well, it wouldn't have to be negative. It could be positive or negative. And I realize that it's something that might be subjective, but I think, I don't know if staff, should refer this to staff to look into, or ask to put it on a future agenda, if I could get some guidance on the proper way to do this under our rules.
Mr. City Manager, I think there's a question on the table for you.
I shall defer the city attorney on the process.
We'd be glad to put it on a future agenda for discussion.
Well, council has to vote on that, I think.
Yep.
Right.
But that's okay.
With council consent, we'd be glad to put it.
That's a motion?
It's a motion.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes. We'll put it on a future agenda. Is that it for you, Mr. Whitman?
That's it.
Very good. Mr. Reed?
Okay, CVAG Conservation Commission was a very short meeting, and I think I don't believe anything that we did impacts Indian Wells at this time. The Energy Commission, a committee of CVAG, apparently has been tasked with the dust issue. So I will be working with the dust committee, which is the mayor, and who is it? Who else? Who's the second person? And so before the next Energy Committee meeting, let's, without violating the Brown Act, why don't you tell Chris what it is that you think would be helpful to the city? Because I want to make sure that the city, at least anyway, is speaking with one voice. And if somebody thinks that this is somebody from the Dust Committee should be on this committee, I'd be more than happy to switch with them. That way, but I'll leave that to other people to decide. The Recreation District, we're meeting with them next month here at City Hall. The ad hoc committee meets as instructed by staff or the mayor. The marketing committee has not met in a while. I don't know if we have anything on schedule. I'm not sure. Don't have anything on my calendar. And then the finance committee is meeting on Monday. So thank you. That's my report.
Is that it, Mr. Reed? You finished?
What's that again?
Are you finished with your presentation?
That's it. I'm
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Sanders.
Thank you, Mayor Toper Taylor. Nothing of any real substance to report other than we have a great opportunity that's kind of fallen into our laps. I've been working with Steve Patterson, who is a resident of Desert Horizons, on having a presentation for all community members who wish to attend on the situation in the Ukraine, which is a evolving situation, very timely because it's in the news just about every day. So we have the opportunity to have the presentation made by retired General Hughes, whose last assignment was commander of United States Army Europe. And he's one of the leading experts in the world on the Ukraine. So we've managed to get this on the agenda of the Community Activities Committee for December the 9th. And if everything is approved, we'll have a virtual town hall session here in the council chambers. It will be on February 17th. And the lecture will be followed by Q&A, and it will be done from Germany. So it will be remote. General Hughes now lives in Germany.
Can't we go there? Wouldn't that be?
That would be much better. So because of the time differential, it'll have to be about 9:30 or 10 o'clock in the morning. And so we're looking forward to the Community Activities Committee meeting. And if we get the green light, then we'll proceed and get it on the calendar and get out email blasts. And I think it would be very good for the residents. That's it.
Does that conclude your presentation?
It does.
Thank you. Mr. Penna?
Thank you, Councilmember Sanders. So are you implying that we need to increase our budget for community activities for next year?
You're lobbying me, right?
You could call it that. That sounds great. I have a few things to discuss here to announce. Coachella Valley Mountains Conservancy has just given back to the Coahia Indians a sector of land which consists of 640 acres up in the Santa Rosa Mountains, which is amazing. So they will be the stewards of that land. Additionally, they are having a photo contest of anything in the desert, obviously something natural. And we have literature at the front desk in City Hall with the information, but it's to submit a photo, and they're going to have a grand prize. And if whoever wins, whatever photo they choose, is going to be on the cover of Coachella Valley Mountains Conservancy Year in Review, and there will also be a big wheel tour that goes along with that. So that's pretty nice for them to give that out. On my next committee, Indian Wells Preservation Foundation had an amazing turnout yesterday and an amazing home, and it was the best dedication yet to date. It was outstanding. The Indian Wells Preservation Foundation is doing excellent work. They are uncovering all the architectural gems in our city, and I applaud them for that. Thank you. Lastly, if you haven't noticed, the big tree outside, the final decorations have been installed on the street lights, and if you go out tonight and take a look at them, 111 should be all lit up, and it's fantastic, and I appreciate everyone's help on this. And along with Public Works, they got a late notice thank you on that, but I want them to know that all their work is very much appreciated, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. I guess now it's my turn to go through these committees. So first of all, I want to say that I went to the Champion of Hospitality Award dinner, and I want to congratulate wholeheartedly a number of our award winners in the city of Indian Wells. The Santa Rosa Impact Award went to the Grand Hyatt Indian Wells Resort and Villas. This is one of the most prestigious awards given in that night. And when you think of all the resorts and hotels in the Coachella Valley, hats off to the Grand Hyatt. Secondly, the San Jacinto Rising Stars Award. We had Jasmine Laura from the Renaissance Esmeralda Resort and Spa, and Edgar Ramirez from the Grand Hyatt Indian Wells Resort and Villas, both winners. Incredible. 2 in the same category. The Resort Hotel Champions. Erica Escobar Flores from the Tommy Bahama Miramonte Resort and Spa was a winner. The venue champion was Luis Rosas of Desert Champions, and IWGR Report December. Oh, sorry, that's a different thing. Nonetheless, those winners are incredible. So congratulations to all of them. They stand out among the 50,000 employees in Coachella Valley that are in the service industry. So hats off. Very excited about the players course as a lifetime golfer with a single-digit handicap. The first hole, which is 600 yards, is a punch in the face and welcome to Indian Wells. I was so excited. I couldn't even believe it. And the last 5 holes may be the best last 5 holes in golf in the desert, including Bighorn Vintage Club, etc. The 18th hole is spectacular. Hats off to John Fote and the team.
Great. Straight out.
Yeah, and by the way, Bruce, who had the commemorative first shot off the tee, faded it a little bit, but it was exceptional. He actually got off the ground, which I was very impressed by under the tremendous amount of pressure. Here, here. All right, so then a few other notes here would be the CVAG Executive Committee and Homeless Committee met on a joint basis. Manny Perez announced $3 million in funding for all matters related to dust. We are going to follow up and meet with him in the next week or two to understand how that is going to be spent, whether it's going to be for research or action. We will find out. I had an op-ed that was published in the Desert Sun, which may be worthwhile for those of you who are interested in dust to take a look at. I'm sure we can provide that to you if you're not a subscriber. And I would say that we also have an ad hoc committee in the Golf Advisory Committee, which meets. We're very excited that we're getting close to recommending to City Council a Indian Wells Championship golf tournament, which will be held in the spring with a low gross and low net winner, and it will be an annual tournament for all of us to enjoy for those people who have residence benefit cards and adhere to our new ethics and rules. Nonetheless, I believe that is that concludes my presentation, and I believe that concludes today's City Council meeting. We will the next City Council meeting will be at 1:30 p.m. on January 15th, 2026 in City Hall. This meeting is adjourned.
Great.
Amen. Great job to you.